Welcome back, friends. So if you're getting no-shows, stall deals, or just basically people who are ghosting you, most likely you're not following up with them enough time. So they're basically just burning those leads and giving them straight to your competitor. So that's obviously not something that you want to do. I'm going to show you in this video the exact follow-up system that we use to pull back ghosters, no-shows, or people who are just stalled in the pipeline and get them to rebook or just close them in the first place. Let's go. Follow-up framework. So why follow-ups matter in the first place? So follow-ups are quite literally the lifeblood of any successful cold outreach campaign. It doesn't matter if you're doing cold email, if you're doing cold DMs. This is going to work regardless of what you're doing, because if people are stuck between a few stages, say again, they're in the nurturing stage, like interested, meeting link, or before they send the booking link, or if they got no-showed, or even lost in the pipeline, this is going to help you regardless, because the underlying principle is the same, because you need to just follow up with them, right? And you need to make this a habit. If you can systemize this down to an exact science like we have here, you're basically not going to have any issues. This is going to save you a ton of time, because you know exactly what you need to do if somebody's lost in XYZ stage, or as well as it's just going to make your life a whole lot easier, because this is something that is working and it is proven. Okay, so just quite literally, the initial email, I'll just tell you right away, it rarely converts, right? It doesn't always convert. Most people just give up here, but most prospects need at least multiple touch points to get a response from them. And this is where basically some of the stuff I already talked to you about in some of our videos comes into play. Is, for example, if you're doing a 3-step email sequence, you're going to hit them once with an initial one and they follow up. But if you're doing a 7-step email sequence, it's much better, because you're targeting them on 3 different strings. So basically you're doing a initial follow-up, another one, and another one. And all of these branch out. So you're basically hitting them with 3 separate sequences. So hitting them with 2 follow-ups, and here you have 3 follow-ups, and you could do 2 as well, or 3. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is you're doing multiple touch points. And if you're doing a 7-step sequence, what we usually do is we have 3 offers that we throw them into. So 1, 2, and 3, right? It all comes down to 3 different angles that you can test. So for example, because they might not respond to angle A, might respond to angle B, but they might hit angle C, and this could convert really well for you. But I'm not going to talk about this too much in the video, because we already went over this in quite a lot of detail. Here I'm just going to talk about if you already got a sequence going and people are stuck between the sales pipeline. Let me show you how you can fix it. So basically, study shows that 80% of sales require at least like 5 follow-ups, which most people just stop at 1 or 2. Follow-ups they're not reminders, and let me get this point across, that they're not reminders. They're there to add something to the conversation, not just bumping the conversation, right? You want to add value to it and make it worthwhile to respond, because most likely the reason they're not responding to you is because option A, they don't care because your offer quite frankly sucks, or option B, you haven't gotten their attention yet, right? And that again boils down to option A again, or that could be option C, which is you landed in spam, but that's a whole different issue, and that's not always the case. But the whole point of this is just make sure you follow up with them by adding value. So if you just change like literally one thing and you take away one thing from this video, I know it's a short one, but just literally stop doing reminders and add value to it. That's literally all you need to do. So overcoming objections, re-engaging prospects in ways that resonate with them. So for example, I mean, if you're watching this video, I hope you already know your prospects' pain points. But if you don't, just go back to the drawing boards. This is a video for later down the road. But basically, just make sure you clear those pain points. And if you can do that, if you can manage that, you're going to have less problems on the sales call as well, because you already cleared up their major pain points beforehand. And it's just much more easy to get a response from them in the first place as well. Okay, but that's quite literally it. And if you want to take our follow-up frameworks, you can. It's in the description. You could just come and download everything if you want to. These are, again, just frameworks. This is not the exact stuff we use, but this is something we built off of and create on your own, because everyone's offer is different. So you're not just going to come here and copy paste and just going to work magically. You're going to need to put some effort into this. Before you go and copy paste everything, I want you to just rework these frameworks, not because that we're using them ourselves at the moment. we are, but we're obviously using a different variation of this. And this is just the framework. Like, let me show you, like, first name, obviously you need to change this, target audience, specific results, time frame, pricing model, right? Like, you need to build your own off of these. And these are quite literally just frameworks that we still use, obviously, with just our own offer and our own messaging. But you can just take these and just implement them into your own system. So if you're struggling with people, you know, being stuck after the interested stage, or if you send them a meeting link but they're still ghosting you, just use these. I'm gonna quickly go over like what they are. But I mean, usually there's a funny GIF or a picture that you can use. These are some of the ones. Obviously create your own because they're gonna work much better. This is just something that we use. But obviously, like I said, just reinforce the value. Add educational video on top of it. You can do a pattern interrupt. You don't always need to add value, and that's something I'm not going to stress too much, because if you can, that's obviously better. But sometimes you can absolutely do like a simple bump if you're doing 7 sequence follow-ups. But if you're just doing like 3 follow-ups and you're bumping like half the time, it's not going to work, right? But the point is, like, if you take a look at follow-up number 3, pattern interrupt, was it that bad? And obviously we have a guy here with the meme, reply or draw 25, and here's you, the person's not replying. That's quite good. It gets quite good responses, and obviously, like, it boils down to, hey, was the video that I sent, like in follow-up number 2, that bad? And obviously, are people more likely to reply because, you know, they don't want to leave you hanging, as sort of a human psychological trait. But anyway, if you go through all of them, they always add value or just refer back to the previous one in some sort of way. So meeting link as well as follow-up interested is quite similar. This is obviously just for if they got stuck after you send them a meeting link. So again, like funny GIF or funny meme, best I can do a quick call, best I can do is ignore this. If you know Pawn Stars, this hits quite home. Quite simple. Put your offer here, right? This is just something that we used previously. Just use new relevant memes if you want. They help quite a bit. But you'd be surprised. Obviously, this is not going to work for all types of outreach and all types of niches. Like, for example, if you're just sending like a Kermit Frog meme to enterprise companies, sorry, buddy, I cannot really help you with that. But you're probably not going to get very nice replies or any replies at all. As for no-shows, same story, essentially. Same thing with follow-up post-sales calls. So if they get stuck between, you know, discovery call, sales call, or they just don't follow up with you, they don't buy, you can use these. These are just basically like incentives and just a different take on your offer, or something that you communicated with them previously, is just to get them back on a call and get them closed. Finally, again, just a no-show, very similar. Just re-engage the value, just try to get them back on a call, because there's some reason they no-showed and possibly they don't see the value. So I'm just giving you here like 7 follow-ups you can take and just use today, build off of the frameworks. But again, just before you copy paste, make sure it fits with your offer and your ICP. How to optimize your follow-ups. Just a few things before I wrap up, but basically vary the medium. So email isn't the only way to follow up. I just have this document here in email because this is something that we do inside subsequencing. So if somebody is interested, you could just click interested and you create a separate campaign for interested follow-up. I'm not going to show you because it's super simple, and we've shown this in many other videos, but basically you can automate this whole process. If you're doing this on social media, you obviously need a VA to do it, or just you do it yourself manually, and you need a tracker. If you don't have a tracker, again, check the resource in the description. We give you a tracker if you don't have one. But just think about it like this. If you have their number, send them an SMS, right? Or just send them a voice note, or just send them a whatever else you can. Just try to do like Omni-Channel outreach, which is basically just hitting them in multiple platforms, multiple touch points, and that's just going to perform over that much better. Okay, so testing your timing. Again, just don't send 7 follow-ups in the span of 24 hours, because that's not going to work. So space out your follow-ups within 2 to 4 days, ideally. If you're sending 7 follow-ups, it should be at least like 21 days. Okay, keep it conversational. Just use, again, short, but you know, if you checked out the examples I've shown you, it should drive home. And again, just before everything, add value in every single follow-up. Offer something new, basically. Just inside case studies, resources, testimonials. So again, if you take away one thing from this video, just don't do the bumps and add value. That's it. That's what most people get wrong. It's super duper simple. I don't want to stress too much about it. If you got this point, then you pretty much understand what follow-ups are for. And if you're gonna need the follow-ups, it's gonna be the second link in the description. So with this in mind, just a quick summary. So basically, follow-ups are what separates successful outreach campaigns from those that actually just fail. And most prospects, again, just won't respond immediately. Just think about it like all the time. Like without a structured value-driven follow-up, you're most likely not going to get a reply, or at least as much as you possibly could get if you're just doing a sophisticated follow-up system. So you can turn these cold leads into warm combos, use these frameworks if you'd like. And again, just always stop sending the reminders and just add value. That's it. I'll see you in the next.